market and outsell your competition. This is literally your first step toward helping you create competition-crushing marketing. Let me ask you a question. Can you name the last TV advertisement that you saw that was so compelling it prevented you from leaving the room? Or the last print ad that practically forced you to read it? Probably not. So think about that for a minute. The average person today is exposed to more than 8,000 marketing messages, and yet most people can't name just one that did the job it was supposed to do. Grab your attention and persuade you to buy that product or service. Is your marketing working any better? Is your phone ringing off the wall? Are you swamped with prospects storming into your place of business? Is your server crashing every day due to the number of hits on your website? Or do you find yourself in the struggle of your life, continually attempting new ways to attract more clients to your business? Would you like the solution to all of this? In this presentation, we're going to share with you the proven and tested process we use to help our clients create effective marketing. Marketing so compelling, it practically forces their prospects to buy what they sell. If you're finally ready to stop spraying and praying when it comes to your marketing, then make sure you watch this presentation several times so you understand the fundamentals that make up competition-crushing marketing. The business owner who understands how to create messages, ads, and marketing collateral that follows a persuasion format can literally gain the ability to dominate their market. Persuasion marketing is simply organizing the buying and selling processes so you can present compelling information about your product or service that will persuade your prospect to take specific action. All marketing should inform and persuade your prospects. With persuasion marketing, you strive to be successful in addressing the wants and needs of all prospects in such a way that you continue to move them through their various stages of decision making. The problem is that today these so-called marketing experts are teaching business owners all sorts of tips, tricks, tools, and gimmicks designed to help them convert a prospect into a client. But here's the problem. Most of them no longer work. Prospects have wised up to the trickery. They have become jaded, skeptical, and distrustful. In an age where fiber optics now dominates the world of communication, absolutely no one believes that you only have 100 phone lines available for your teleseminar. When information products are downloaded from a landing page and contain a multitude of electronic products, then how can you have only 25 copies left? Prospects have learned how to play the game the hard way. They've all been duped by these gimmicks and tricks in the past, and they've elected to no longer play. That's not to say that exclusivity and scarcity no longer work. They just no longer work using the same tired tactics that have been employed for years. Smart business owners must start thinking outside the box. This presentation is going to teach you how to market the correct way by giving you a process that proves to your prospects that your business and your business alone provides the ultimate value for the price your prospects pay. Previously, we covered the basic fundamentals of human behavior that help us create persuasive marketing. Now let's combine those fundamentals with the marketing equation itself and discuss the persuasive messaging that you can create when using the interrupt, engage, educate, and offer sequence to structure your messaging. This information is critical to the success of your business, since this is the process you will use for the rest of your life as a business owner to help you create and deliver competition-crushing marketing. When you master the marketing equation, you will set your business up as the premier dominant force in your industry, and virtually no one will be able to compete with you again. You will simply offer so much additional value that even if you charge double the price as your competition, your value will dramatically supersede the highest price and make buying from you a total no-brainer. Don't forget the workbook we have included specifically for this presentation. It will help to reinforce the information we'll be covering and act as an ongoing resource that you can quickly review in the future. So, why does the marketing equation create persuasive marketing? And why is persuasion marketing so important today? Well, for any business owner to become successful today, they must provide their prospects with an experience focused on 7 very basic fundamentals. Fail to do this, and you will never build the business of your dreams. Let's quickly review these fundamentals. You will want to commit these to memory for the rest of your life as a business owner. They're based on fundamental human nature and will always be applicable when it comes to marketing. Fundamental number 1, everyone wants the best deal. Your prospects, no matter who they are or what it is they're buying, always want the best deal. That doesn't mean the lowest price. It means the most value for the price they pay. They will gladly pay twice the price as long as they perceive they're receiving 4 times the value when they compare it to the price. Fundamental number 2, always market to the negative. Never forget that the vast majority of human beings will do anything to avoid pain, but very little to gain pleasure. Show them the solution, these so-called hot-button issues, and they will buy from you forever. Fundamental number 3, prospects buy based on emotion. This one is really important to remember. Human beings make buying decisions based mostly on emotion. They only use logic to justify their purchase. This ties in directly with marketing to the negative. Prospects either want out of pain or they want to avoid pain, and that resonates with them emotionally. Market to the negative and make it as emotionally compelling as possible. Hit your prospects squarely in their hot buttons, and you automatically make an emotional connection. Fundamental number 4, make your business unique. One of the biggest problems business owners face when trying to make their emotional connection is that different prospects have different hot buttons. That's why it's critical that you separate your business from your competition. You must find a way to stand out from the crowd. The best way to do this is to create a niche market for your business. That means your business has to stop trying to be all things to everyone. When you try to be everything to everyone, you're nothing to no one. When you select a niche market, a niche based on your passion for what you do, you instantly become unique, since your competition is trying to be all things to all people. Fundamental number 5, create extraordinary value. Would I shock you if I told you that prospects could care less about price? They shop price because they're forced to. What prospects really want is the best value for the price they pay. They want to know how they will benefit from what you sell. How will their life improve if they purchase your product or service? If what you sell solves a problem in their life, or if it removes a major frustration, fear, or concern, then they see your product or service as valuable. Your job as the business owner is to make sure your business offers them exactly what they want. And that means positioning yourself in a niche market and then innovating your business to give that niche exactly what they're looking for. That creates extraordinary value. Fundamental number 6, be able to communicate your uniqueness and extraordinary value. You must create a highly targeted, laser-focused message aimed specifically at the prospects in your niche market, so you can tell them you have exactly what they want. We refer to this message as your elevator pitch. It's basically a 10 to 30-second mini commercial for your business. When you say your elevator pitch to a prospect and they respond by saying, "How do you do that?" then you know you have a terrific elevator pitch. Fundamental number 7, prospects buy what they want, not what they need. Prospects may or may not buy what they need, but they will always buy what they want. Where needs are based on logic, wants are based on emotion. If you can create marketing messages that hit these major fundamentals, you will absolutely dominate your competition. So, how do you use these fundamentals to create persuasive marketing? To make this really simple, remember this one important fact. Marketing is a science, and like every science, there is a very simple equation that when followed will always produce the right result. That equation is known as the marketing equation. The marketing equation can be broken down into 4 basic components: interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. It's based on one of the oldest and most durable models known because it helps business owners appeal to consumers' emotional and social wants and needs. Let me explain why this equation is so important for business owners to fully understand. For your marketing message to be effective, you must sharpen the focus of your message to ensure that you actually reach your prospect's mind and that you do so with enough impact that he or she will pick up the phone, walk into the store, or go to the website and get involved with your business. But here's the problem. Your prospects are swimming, drowning, suffocating in marketing messages. We all are. Today we live in a media-saturated world where we're endlessly exposed to a constant barrage of advertising messages from the moment we wake up to the time we go to bed. From television and radio, our morning newspaper, and favorite magazines, our email inboxes, and the websites we visit, on billboards, subway signage, and park benches, messages claw at our eyes and ears for attention around the clock. Now, we even find ads on fruit in supermarkets, corporate signage on secluded nature trails, and marketing pamphlets promoting products in dental and medical offices. And that flood of marketing messages is only going to continue to grow. Because they're inundated with marketing messages, your prospects will filter most of these messages right out of their conscious thought, unless one happens to hit them squarely on their hot button. You have to put time and effort into investigating exactly who your prospects are, what their most pressing want is, and how your business fulfills that want. That's why you always begin with an ideal client profile and then understand their decision-making process. Once you know who is buying what you sell and how they make a decision to buy, your marketing message must hit a resounding bullseye on your ideal client's hot buttons by using a highly targeted and strategically placed message that will compel him or her to buy or at least to take the next step. For any type of marketing to work, it must do three things. It must grab the reader's attention, it must facilitate the prospect's information gathering and decision-making process, and it must provide a specific, low-risk, easy-to-take action that helps them make a good decision. Let's review why these three steps are so important. First, all marketing must grab their prospect's attention. If it doesn't, it's worthless. Your prospects will never read, watch, or listen to the rest of your ad. That means you must have a great headline if the ad is in print. If it is on the radio, the headline is the first thing they hear. If it's on TV, the headline is the first thing they see and hear. Second, we just discussed that every prospect, no matter who they are or what they buy, is always looking for the best deal. That doesn't mean lowest price. It means the most value for the price they pay. In order to know if something is the best deal, they must have decision-making information. Your marketing must help the prospect gather information that aids them in their decision-making process. That's why you must develop a client profile and map out your prospect's decision-making process. Without these fundamentals in place, you won't know the right information to provide them with. And third, your marketing must contain a low, or better yet, no risk offer to further facilitate the prospect's decision-making process. You have to give them a compelling yet safe way to take the next step. Note that this next step may not necessarily be to plunk down their credit card then and there and buy your product or service. It may be to pick up the phone to make an appointment so they can learn more, or to order a free trial, or to visit a retail location. Whatever it is, what you want is a concrete action step that gets your prospect actively involved in your business. These three principles must always be present if your marketing is going to be effective. Now, to help ensure that you always include these three principles, all you need to do is follow the marketing equation for every marketing piece you develop. Remember, the marketing equation goes like this: interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. Let me explain these four more in depth. You first have to interrupt your prospect. In other words, you have to gain their attention. This is done with an attention-grabbing headline. The headline is by far the single most important part of any ad. If your prospects don't read the headline, then they won't read the rest of the ad, no matter how well it is written. If your headline doesn't do its job, the rest of the project is nothing but a waste of time, effort, and money. In a print piece, the headline is placed at the very top of the ad. Most businesses place the name of their company here. And again, this is the worst thing you can ever do. Your prospects don't care one iota what you've named your business, and they don't care what you look like either. So stop putting your picture at the top as well. Prospects only care about one thing: themselves. WIIFM may be the 5 most important letters for business owners to remember when creating persuasive marketing. Those letters stand for what's in it for me. The headline must resonate with the hot button issues faced by the specific prospect in that specific niche market. If the battery dies in your car and you go to a website looking for a replacement, do you want to see ads for tires, spark plugs, or brake pads? Of course not. So then why do chiropractors offer wellness classes on their website when I'm coming to it looking for back pain relief? Why do child psychologists offer a free report to learn the secrets to nurturing well-behaved children when I'm desperately looking for ways to control my yelling, screaming, obnoxious child? Let me give you a real-life example. A child psychologist who specializes in helping parents with out-of-control kids had a headline on his website that said, Parenting Advice and Resources from Dr. John Smith. If you were a parent with a screaming child, would that headline hit your emotional hot buttons? In fact, do you even know this Dr. John Smith? If not, do you really care what his name is? Now, instead of using the headline that says Parenting Advice and Resources from Dr. John Smith, how would you feel about this headline? Are you sick and tired of the yelling, screaming, and belligerent attitude of your child? Would that hit you in your emotional hot buttons? The proof, of course, is in the results. The last headline will outpull the first one by more than 10 to 1. Which one do you want to use if you're this doctor and you're dependent on this website to feed your family? So again, please stop putting your name of your business at the top of your ads and your website, as well as your picture. Your prospects simply don't care, and you're wasting the most valuable part of the ad with non-compelling fluff. Make that headline hot button oriented, and if the ad is a print ad, then be sure the headline is in the largest type so the eye goes to it first. If you use a radio ad, the headline is the first thing the listeners hears. So hit those listeners in their emotional hot buttons. Think about the ads for credit card relief you hear every day on the radio. Every ad starts out by saying, are you sick and tired of harassing phone calls from your credit card company, demanding payment and threatening you with legal action? If that happens to fit your present situation, are you going to listen to the ad? You bet you will. So, as you can see, no matter what marketing medium you use, every marketing piece must start with a headline, and that headline must grab the prospect's attention in an emotionally compelling way, effectively and immediately. If it's written correctly, the right attention-grabbing headline also serves a second crucial function that many marketers and business owners don't think about. It immediately qualifies your ideal client and disqualifies those prospects who aren't your ideal client. A well-written headline will only grab the attention of those prospects who genuinely want your product or service, and they're the only ones you want to grab, right? When you create your ideal client profile, you will know exactly what your ideal client wants. When you map out your ideal client's decision-making process, then you further refine the focus on those wants by specifically defining their hot buttons and creating the innovations your business must have to dominate your market. All of this gives you the raw material you need to draw on for your headlines. For example, let's say you own a daycare facility that specializes in caring for children ages 3 months old through 3 years old. You've discovered that all the other daycare services in your area have a staff-to-child ratio of 10 to 1. That is, there's only one staff member for every 10 children. You've recently identified that one of your ideal client's hot buttons is she wants to be sure her child is receiving personal, undivided attention and supervision from the daycare staff. In fact, that is so important to a daycare mom that she would be willing to pay much more to ensure her child does receive that care and attention. Since this is a hot button issue for her, this want is firmly entrenched in her mind. She will immediately respond to any marketing that highlights this issue. Knowing that, you decide to innovate your daycare. You decide to hire additional staff so that your staff-to-child ratio drops to 5 to 1. Now you can use that hot button and your innovation as the raw material for an attention-grabbing headline that specifically targets her. How's this headline sound? Ever feel like your daycare treats your child like a number instead of a little person? Bullseye. Again, this headline will use the largest font in this entire marketing piece so that the reader's eye knows exactly which words to read first. If you were this prospect and you were concerned that your child wasn't receiving adequate supervision in daycare, would this headline grab you? Would it break through the clutter? Of course it would. Now you've grabbed your prospect's attention. That's the good news. Here's the bad news. You only have it for 2 to 3 seconds. Remember that your prospect lives in a world of media overwhelm. Simply grabbing their attention is not going to get your message across, because the moment after you've grabbed it, it's gone, unless you carefully follow the marketing equation. Once you've grabbed your prospect's attention, you must ensure that the very next thing they read engages their attention. And that's the subheadline's job. Think of the headline like you're tapping on a glass with your spoon at a dinner party to get everyone's attention so you can give a toast. The subheadline would be the first line you speak when you actually start giving the toast. Your subheadline needs to engage your prospect's attention by persuasively promising to provide them with a vital decision-making information that will solve their major problem, frustration, fear, or concern. In other words, your subheadline builds on the impact of the headline and fleshes it out with enough specifics to make it sufficiently intriguing that your reader will want to read further. So, right after my headline says, ever feel like your daycare treats your child like a number instead of a little person? My subheadline would say, here's how to ensure your child gets personal, loving, caring, one-on-one attention at daycare. Your subheadline should be in the second largest font in your marketing piece. Plus, it should be placed directly below or immediately after your headline, so there's no ambiguity whatsoever. Your reader's eye knows exactly where to go. Notice how the headline and subheadline work together to interrupt and engage your ideal client by promising to provide them with vital decision-making information that will solve their major concern or frustration. Please note that the interrupt and engage components are two of the most important marketing fundamentals that, when mastered, can have a tremendous impact on your marketing results and immediately help you attract more clients. You must properly structure your headline to hit your prospects' hot buttons and structure the subheadline to indicate the ad contains a solution to the problem the headline addresses. Here are some additional examples that demonstrate the symbiotic relationship your headline and subheadlines must work together to create. Need to sell your home fast? 11 steps will get you more money and sell your home in half the time. If you wanted to sell your home quickly, would you practically be forced to read the rest of this ad? How about this one? 1 in every 14 homes are burglarized every day. Now you can completely protect your family for only 67 cents per day. Even if you weren't presently thinking about buying a security system for your home, wouldn't this ad grab your attention and make you want to see how you can protect your family so inexpensively? What if you needed a plumber, but like most prospects today, you have no idea what you really need or what can be fixed rather than replaced? When you call plumbers, your hot button is that you're afraid you'll be ripped off. Then, how about this headline subheadline combination? Worried about hiring a plumber who's more interested in lining his own pockets than fixing your plumbing? Ask any plumber these 3 incriminating questions and see for yourself. Now, seriously, would any normal prospect be dying right now to find out what those incriminating questions are? Notice how all of these headline, subheadline combinations work together to first interrupt and then engage each prospect. Writing headlines and subheadlines takes practice, patience, and a great swipe file. A swipe file is a collection of previously used, tested, and proven headlines and subheadlines that can be used as examples to help you get started developing the ones that will work for your business. We have placed our own personal swipe file online for your personal use. It's called the Headline Bank, and it contains more than 350 successful headlines. You only need to change a few of the words in each headline to fit your specific business, product, or service. So just remember that when you create any type of marketing message, you want to interrupt and engage your prospects with an attention-grabbing headline, followed by a subheadline that promises a solution to the problem referenced in the headline. Next, you want to educate your reader by providing them with significant information about how it is that your business delivers on the promise of the headline and subheadline. This is the task of the lengthiest piece of text in your entire marketing piece, which is the body copy. If your marketing piece were a trial lawyer, the headline and subheadline would be your opening statement. It would be an attorney saying something like this: Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, John Smith murdered Mike Jones, and I'll prove it by revealing 4 critical pieces of damaging evidence the prosecution doesn't want you to see. Do you think there's anyone on that jury right now that can't wait to find out what that evidence is? That's how the headline and subheadline should work together. Now it's up to the body copy to detail your case by presenting all the relevant evidence to that jury. In the case of our daycare, your body copy must convince your prospects that you have the best daycare available. And simply telling them that you're the best value isn't enough. You have to prove it. In your body copy, make sure you emphasize the benefits the prospect wants and not simply the features you have. The single biggest and most common mistake business owners make is to focus constantly on their business's features and not on its benefits. Features tell, benefits sell. Businesses that focus on features are doomed to forever compete on price. Businesses that focus on benefits always compete on value. It's important to remember that every prospect is looking for the best deal. Therefore, it's imperative that your body copy informs your prospects about the extraordinary value you offer with crystal clarity. Most of the time, you'll need to innovate your business in order to create and then offer extraordinary value. So focusing on your innovations is the key to marketing success. You must create value. That's what your prospects are looking for. And innovation is the way to create massive, extraordinary value. Lowering your daycare staff to child ratio is an innovation. So you'd want to make sure to highlight the fact that your daycare staff to child ratio is half that of all other daycare providers in the area. You want to focus on just that one hot button. Also, you would want to do this in such a way that you don't come across as maliciously attacking your competition, but as simply informing parents that you have innovated your daycare service so you can give them what they want. You might even point out that they're free to inquire at other daycares to verify the information you're providing to them. It's important to make careful choices here. While the body copy is by far the longest portion of the ad, this is still a marketing piece, not an informational pamphlet, brochure, or catalog. Resist the temptation to throw in every bit of juicy information you can think of, and remember to focus on only one hot button at a time. You want to give them just enough information to entice them to want to know even more. Although you have now successfully grabbed and held your prospect's attention, remember that the rest of the media-saturated world is still there clamoring to be heard. You only have a minute or two to inform her how your daycare will benefit her, not all day. If your daycare specialized in providing educational opportunities, you would create an ad that would highlight additional innovations you've made in your business along educational lines, such as private one-on-one tutoring or basic computer training for preschoolers. You highlight the fact that you now provide these services and your competition doesn't. But don't just highlight the services. Highlight the benefits your prospects get from those services, such as their child will be reading at a first grade level prior to entering kindergarten, or that they will have already adjusted to begin in a learning environment, making the transition to entering school less traumatic on the kids. Benefits sell, features tell. Always highlight the benefits of your innovations. And remember, one ad, one hot button only. Now, put all of this information into the body copy of your ad so that you fully educate your prospects. However, just like you're following a marketing equation when developing this ad, there is a specific syntax you should use in the body copy of this information. Syntax merely refers to the systematic, orderly arrangement of information. Let me explain why an orderly arrangement is so crucial. Since we do live in a media-saturated world, we have developed shortcuts to help us deal with all of it. A vast majority of prospects today merely skim ads unless something jumps out and grabs them. That's why we must have a hot button-oriented headline followed by a subheadline that engages by promising a solution. Unfortunately, most marketing collateral that does promise a solution never delivers one. So after the headline and subheadline interrupts and engages them, they still aren't convinced you're the real deal. So they won't commit quite yet to read every word of your body copy. Instead, they skim it, hoping to get the big picture. And once they're convinced your information can actually help them, only then will they actually read the specific information. Your job is to develop your body copy to facilitate their ability to scan your ad. To do this properly, you should create a series of short, benefit-driven paragraphs that are always preceded with additional subheadlines. It's imperative that your subheadlines create a pattern that tells the basic story you want them to know about, what you sell, and how it can benefit them. The subheadline should be compelling enough to lead them directly to your offer, which is to call to action. Let's revisit the daycare example to demonstrate this technique. Our daycare headline says, "Ever feel like your daycare treats your child like a number instead of a little person?" Followed by our subheadline that says, "Here's how to ensure your child gets personal, loving, caring, one-on-one attention at daycare." Our body copy is broken down into 5 small paragraphs with the following subheadlines across the top of each paragraph. Do you know what the teacher-child ratio is at your daycare? 36%. That's the percentage of kids daycare workers know by name. Here's how other daycares try to disguise their lack of adequate supervision. We guarantee no more than 5 children to every staff member. This shocking free report compares the actual teacher-child ratio at all 17 area daycares. Just from these subheadlines alone, are you able to see the big picture and the tremendous benefits we're offering the local parents who have kids in daycare? These subheadlines are so powerful and compelling, it really doesn't matter if the parents go back and read the text beneath each subheadline. They already know they have to have the shocking report. Did you also notice the syntax that you want to follow when you write your body copy? In this ad, we used 5 paragraphs. The first paragraph addresses the main hot button and describing why it's a problem. The second and third ones flesh out the problem and drive home the fact that the solution is required to overcome this problem and fast. The fourth paragraph highlights a solution or innovation, how we have overcome this devastating problem. And the last paragraph is a specific call to action that is totally dependent on your specific business's sales process. In the case of the daycare, a free informational offer such as a report is perfect. So the syntax to follow when you create body copy for your marketing is problem, solution, action. Just be sure your subheadlines describe the major points you want them to know. And finally, you must always end your marketing message with a compelling offer. Whether it's a postcard, a direct sales letter, a print ad, television or radio commercial, a live presentation, a web page, no matter what form or format you use, every piece needs to close with a compelling offer. If you don't, 99 prospects out of 100 will simply walk away. Your prospect will not take any action unless you ask them to do so and give them a very good reason why they should do so. Your offer has one purpose and one purpose only: to get your prospect to take a specific action. That's why the offer is often referred to as the call to action. Your compelling offer needs to be a low, or better yet, no risk way to lead your prospect to take the next step in the sales process. If you sell a low or a moderately priced product or service, the next step might be to buy. If you sell a more expensive item, the next action step might be to request additional information. One excellent way to do this is to offer a free informational report. A report allows you to provide additional details about the benefits you provide that you don't have room for in your ad. When considering daycare services, no prospect in their right mind is going to make such an important decision as placing their precious child into the care of strangers from simply reading an ad. They will first want additional information before they will even commit to visiting the facility in person. If you own a business that requires your prospects to be educated about the benefits of doing business with you, your compelling offer should always revolve around a free informational report. That's why our offer in the daycare example said, this shocking free report compares the actual teacher-child ratio at all 17 area daycares. This free report should be available upon request. Prospects should be able to call you and request a report to be physically mailed to them, or you could develop a landing page where prospects can instantly download the report. When the prospect calls or goes online to request the report, you should capture their contact information. If they don't buy your services immediately, you simply begin a drip campaign. This means you continue marketing to them by sending additional compelling marketing pieces that also follow the marketing equation. Each follow-up piece in your drip campaign should continue to educate your prospects on the innovations of your daycare and the benefits those innovations provide to them. You should never attempt to sell them your services. That is an instant turnoff for prospects. Instead, educate them. Once you do, they quickly come to the conclusion that they would be an absolute fool to do business with any other daycare but yours. Remember, you've innovated your daycare and you now have what they want. The marketing equation of interrupt, engage, educate, and offer should be used in every marketing piece you create. It should be used when developing any type of marketing or advertising: print ads, radio, TV, brochures, flyers, and scripts. Scripts are especially important. in the conversion process. Every person that has contact with your prospects should have a script that covers every aspect of the sale, including those who answer the phone, as well as your sales professionals when they meet with your prospects. When it comes to educating your prospects on your product or service, remember what we just discussed. It's important that you always remember that all prospects are looking for the best deal. Don't take for granted that your prospects know all about your product or service. They usually don't, especially if you have added innovations. It's important that you get prospects to focus on the things that make your business unique. But what if your business isn't unique and you simply can't afford to innovate at this present time? Then use a very powerful educational marketing technique called preemptive advertising. Just as a preemptive strike is when you strike first in such a way as to prevent your opponent from striking back, preemptive advertising is when you advertise something in such a way as to make it difficult or impossible for your competitors to strike back. If you can't afford to innovate, look at the various things you do that even though everyone else in your industry may be doing the exact same thing, no one is drawing attention to it. If you're the first one to make a claim, you own that claim, even if it's a standard practice in your industry. If you're a dry cleaner, tell your prospects the painstaking process you use to remove their stains from their clothing. It doesn't matter if all other dry cleaners use the same exact process. If you're a dentist, explain how you can repair cavities pain-free, even if all other dentists follow the same procedure. And here's a quick tip. When you're trying to generate leads, you must educate your prospects in the body copy of your marketing collateral. But this collateral should consist of ads, brochures, or direct mail pieces. All of these are specifically designed to get your prospects to raise their hand and let you know they're interested in buying what you sell. However, if you have already generated the lead and now you're trying to convert that lead to buy what you sell, you must educate them in the body copy of your marketing collateral, such as free reports, drip campaigns, as well as through your scripts. These are specifically designed to close the sale and convince the prospect to complete the transaction. Let me show you some ads that follow the marketing equation and some that don't. Here is a very typical Yellow Page ad. In this case, it's for a moving company. The vast majority of Yellow Page ads all look alike and do nothing to immediately capture the attention of their ideal client. Most businesses place their business name at the top of the ad, often accompanied by a brief summary of the business or its owner, and many times with a picture included as well. That is the worst thing you can possibly have at the top of your ad. Remember, earlier I said that your prospects don't care about you. They don't care about your business. They don't care that as a moving company, you're local or national, that you perform both residential and commercial services, that you're open 24/7, or that your personnel are courteous, experienced, and professional. They don't care that you own a truck or for whatever strange reason you have adopted a squirrel as a mascot. They only care about them. WIIFM. What's in it for me? That's what they care about. This ad doesn't even come close to following the marketing equation. There's no interrupt, no engage, little to no educate, and the only offer is the phone number, which prospects hate to call because they expect they will be subjected to a sales pitch. And most of the time, they're right. Let's look at some ads that do follow the marketing equation. Remember our daycare example with the headline being treated like a number instead of a little person? Here's an ad for that daycare. Notice the headline interrupts. The subheadline engages. The body copy educates, and the offer for the report is very compelling. We keep emphasizing that the key to creating competition-crushing marketing is to focus on the hot button issue for your ideal client in a specific niche market. Here are some additional examples of how this applies to a daycare situation. This ad is focused on a niche market in daycare where the parents want a loving, caring environment for their child, where the staff treats their child like their own. This ad tweaks that hot button by asking parents to reflect on their current daycare situation and ask themselves if their current staff is doing that, or simply treating their child as just one in a bunch, a number instead of a little person. But that may not be the only hot button for parents in this specific niche market. A parent looking for a daycare that really cares about each and every individual child would also be concerned with hot button issues such as the quality of the staff, indicating how closely are the staff being monitored and held accountable and by who. Has anyone checked out the staff with background checks or drug screenings? Does the staff really pay attention to the kids, or do they let the TV act as the primary babysitter? Are the kids receiving nutritious meals and snacks during the day? All of these hot buttons can be addressed through your marketing. Just remember to focus on one specific hot button for each ad you create. Let's look at several examples. Here's an ad that focuses on the quality of the staff. Notice how the headline instantly interrupts a qualified prospect by saying, "The big hairy secret national chain daycare centers don't want you to know about their employee screening process." Then the subheadline immediately engages them by saying, hint, they don't have a process. What parent can resist finding out what this is all about? Why don't they have a process? Can you see why this works so well? Here's an ad focusing on the parent's concern that the staff may not be paying attention to the kids. The headline says, "Is your daycare idea of good educational curriculum watching Barney on TV?" Instant interrupt for any parent with a child in daycare. Now, the subheadline engages by saying, "How would you like your child to be reading at a first grade level before starting kindergarten?" What parent wouldn't want their child to accomplish that? Here's an ad focused on the hot button issue regarding nutritious meals. The headline says, "Mommy, the food they give me at daycare is yucky." How many times every week does mom hear something like this from her child? This is a major hot button issue that interrupts practically every daycare mom on the planet. Then the subheadline engages by saying, "Wondering why your child comes home from daycare hungry and crabby?" If price is an issue for your daycare, don't try to hide your head in the sand, especially if you charge a higher price than all of your competitors. Remember, prospects will pay a higher price if the value justifies the price. So create an ad that does exactly that by pointing out specifically the additional value you provide, but keep the major focus on the benefits the parents will experience. Here's a great ad for that. The headline says, "How much should you pay for a good daycare center?" This is one of those rare headlines that is worded in such a way it actually interrupts and engages at the same time. However, you could just as easily add an engaging headline that could say, "Here are 7 basic requirements every daycare charges you for, but doesn't provide." Do you see how easy this is when you follow the marketing equation? Also remember that not every parent will immediately flock to your daycare and enroll little Susie or Johnny. You need to offer the free report to complete the education process for the parents, and then implement a drip campaign to follow up with additional compelling information about the benefits you offer. You just follow the exact same process as with your ads. Focus each follow-up piece on only one hot button and give the parents something new to consider, an additional benefit you provide. Here are some examples. Consider the ad we created that focused on nutrition. Here's a drip campaign postcard that you might send to all parents 3 days after they requested the free report. This headline interrupts and engages the prospect by saying, "Introducing a daycare center that doesn't consider mac and cheese to be one of the 4 major food groups." Now again, you could add subheadline here that could say, "Here are 3 essential nutrients that every daycare should be giving your child daily." The reason they didn't do that here is the headline accomplished the job, along with the fact that this is a rather long headline for a postcard. Also notice that the blue and yellow areas represent the front of the postcard, and the white and yellow area below the blue represents the back side of the postcard. One additional note, you may be saying to yourself that these don't look very professional. They almost look cartoonish. You would be absolutely right. We deliberately had the graphic designer use a cartoonish design to represent daycare. This is completely appropriate for this specific business. It would not be appropriate for a financial planner, a lawyer, or a doctor. It would have those ads looking very, very professional. The graphic design should always be created to help reinforce the message you want to convey. Graphics should never attempt to deliver the message. Yes, a picture is worth 1,000 words, as the old saying goes. Unfortunately, I have never once witnessed a sales transaction that occurred based solely on a picture. Text or video is required to convert a prospect into a client. So always remember this important fundamental. Remember the ad that focused on staff screenings? Here are 2 postcards that are perfect follow-ups for the specific ad. The first postcard interrupts by informing parents that 94% of all daycare accidents are caused because of inadequate supervision. Then the subheadline engages them by saying, Do you know the staff-child ratio at your daycare? If it's more than 9-to-1, beware. This is an excellent subheadline to use, and you want to emulate this one as often as you can for your business. Let me explain. I'm sure you've heard in the past that attorneys never ask a witness a question they don't already know the answer to. That's what has just taken place here. This daycare owner has done their homework. They have surveyed every daycare in the local community and discovered that every one of them had a teacher-to-child ratio of 9-to-1 or higher. By positioning that question as a subheadline, it sticks in the minds of most daycare parents. So the very next time they pick up their child at daycare, they just casually ask the staff how many kids they presently have and how many staff members they currently employ. In every case, it's 9-to-1 or higher, and the parents now develop a sinking feeling in the pit of their stomach since they now believe this situation may not be the best for their child. It practically forces them to investigate the new daycare, at which time all the additional benefits come to light and make the new daycare a no-brainer choice for any concerned, caring parent. Here's another drip campaign postcard to reinforce the first one they received. The headline interrupts by saying, "How to avoid daycare centers full of freaks and incompetent staff members." Then the subheadline engages by reminding the parents of what they're seeing at most daycares every single day. "She barely looks old enough to take care of herself, let alone my 3-year-old. This subheadline works well in a vast majority of daycares since most of them compete solely on price, and the only way they can offer a low price is to hire young, inexperienced staff who often work for minimum wage. This again highlights the need for every business owner to do their due diligence on all their competition so you can find the same areas of weakness in your competition's businesses and exploit it to your advantage. How about one more? Remember the ad that emphasized the lack of educational curriculum at most daycares? Here's a great follow-up drip campaign postcard that targets that hot button issue. The headline says, out of 48 daycare centers in Southlake, only one was specifically designed and equipped to cater to unique needs of accelerated children. Then notice the subheadline below it that engages by saying, here's what to expect from a daycare specifically designed for accelerated children. Show me just one parent who does not believe their child belongs in an accelerated group. We have also been reinforcing the free report as the main marketing collateral to educate these parents, so be sure to design it with the marketing equation in mind as well. Here's how this report might look. The front cover could say something like, 10 things your daycare may not tell you. Then the subheadline says, you've looked long and hard to find good childcare, and now you feel you can finally relax. Don't. What an engaging subheadline. What parents can possibly resist sitting down right then and there and reading that report cover to cover to discover what they may have overlooked? Then inside the report, you simply flesh out each of the hot button issues you were referencing in each ad. Notice the first hot button in the report focuses on the staff-to-child ratio, the second one on the staff qualifications, and the third references the nutritional requirements. The report becomes a compilation of all the hot buttons so it can act to educate the parents on every one of them. After they read the report, if they fail to enroll their child at that point, then the drip campaign becomes to work its magic by reminding them of each of those 10 hot button issues one by one at a frequency of every 3 to 5 days. Here's one more consideration in this daycare scenario. The only way any parent will ever enroll their child in daycare is to finally come into the daycare itself for a tour of the facility and to meet the staff. It certainly never hurts to use what we refer to as in-store signage to remind those parents of the unbelievable benefits and innovations you have created for your daycare. Here's an example of that type of marketing collateral. The headline proclaims, you're standing in the only daycare facility in Dallas County that does the following 4 things. And then it goes on to highlight the innovations this daycare created, such as a certified meal planner for nutrition hot button, a staff-to-child ratio of 6-to-1 with all staff trained in CPR and emergency response techniques. Every child is taught an age-appropriate pre-planned curriculum, and parents won't be charged any additional fees for late pickups or early drop-offs. Does this type of signage more or less sell the services of this daycare for them? This is persuasive marketing, and as you can see, it's a process, not an event. Your competition is treating it as an event. They send out a postcard or build a website and then sit back and wonder, why their phone isn't ringing or no one is visiting their website. There's simply more to marketing these days than just getting your name out there. You now know the process and you have the marketing equation to guide you through it. If you act on this information, you should see a dramatic increase in the number of leads you begin to generate, the number of clients you begin to attract, and the amount of money you see accumulating on your bottom line. I can also promise you this: your competition isn't doing any of this. If you take action right now, you will position yourself and your business so far ahead of the curve, they won't know what has hit them. You will be positioning your business as the obvious choice for any prospect interested in what you sell to do business with you, and you alone. You will set your business up as the premier dominant force in your industry, and virtually no one will be able to compete with you again. You will simply offer so much additional value that even if you charge double the price as your competition, your value will supersede the price and make buying from you a total no-brainer. Next, we're going to go more in depth in the marketing equation and show you how to apply it to your elevator pitch and create a competition-crushing marketing message. We'll continue to explain the secrets to creating compelling and persuasive marketing copy and other creative ways to use your marketing to explode your revenue and profits. Our overall focus is to help you continue to build the business you've always dreamed of having, a business that provides you with financial freedom and an extraordinary life for you and your family. Remember that a primary goal is to help you quickly develop the processes that will bring more revenue into your business. Each presentation brings us closer to accomplishing that goal. So until next time, here's to your success.